hung with the heavens with black, yield day to night. Comets importing change of times and states, brandish your crystal tresses in the sky, and with them, scourge the bad, revolting stars that have consented unto Henry's death. King Henry V, too famous to live long. England's ne'er lost a king of so much worth.
England ne'er had a king until his time. He lifted ne'er his hand, but conquered.
Henry is dead, and never shall revive. Upon a wooden coffin we attend. We mourn in black. Why not in blood of France?
He was a king, blessed of the King of Kings. The Church's prayers made him so prosperous.
The Church, where is it? Had not churchmen prayed, his thread of life had not so soon decayed. None do you like but an effeminate prince whom like a schoolboy you may overawe.
Gloucester, whate'er we like, you are protector, and lookest to command the prince and realm. Thy wife is proud. She holdeth thee in awe more than God or religious churchmen may.
Name not religion, for thou lovest the flesh. And now throughout the year to church thou goest, except it be to pray against thy foes.
Cease these jars, and rest your minds in peace. Henry V, thy ghost I invocate. Prosper this realm. Keep it from civil broils.
My honourable lords, health to you all. Sad tidings bring I to you out of France. Of loss, of slaughter and discomfiture. France is revolted from the English quite.
What sayest thou, man, before dead Henry's corpse?
The Dauphin Charles exults near Orleans. The Lord Montjoy is now conjoined with him. Renier, Duke of Anjou, doth take his part. And I have posted from a dismal fight betwixt the stout Lord Talbot and the French. By 23,000 of the French this mighty champion was set upon. Hundreds he sent to hell, and none durst stand him, but all of this could nothing him avail.
What is Talbot slain? And I will slay myself.
Oh no, he lives, but dreadfully besieged. The French at Orleans have him girdled round.
Paris lost, is Rouen yielded up?
How were they lost? What treachery was used?
No treachery, but want of men and money. Amongst the soldiers, this is muttered, that here you do maintain several factions. And whilst a field should be dispatched and fought, you are disputing of your generals. Awake, awake, English nobility, crop to the flower de luces in your caps. Of England's coat, one half is cut away.
My lords, remember your oath to Henry sworn, that you would quell the Dolphin utterly, or bring him in obedience to your yoke.
10,000 soldiers with me I will take, whose bloody deeds shall make all Europe quake.
I'll to the Tower with all the haste I can to view the artillery and munition.
To Eltermy, where the young king is, and for his safety, there I'll best devise.
Then I will proclaim young Henry king.
Each hath his place and function to attend. I am left out. For me nothing remains. But long I will not be Jack out of office.
Lean, raw-boned rascals! Who would I suppose they had such courage and audacity?
That Talbot is a desperate homicide who fighteth as one weary of his life. The other lords, like lions wanting food, do rush upon us as their hungry prey.
They want their porridge and their fat bull beeves.
Were it not that the turncoat Burgundy had joined with them, they were extinguished quite.
Sound. Sound alarm. We will rush on them. Now for the honour of the forlorn French. Him I forgive my death that killeth me, when he sees me go back 1 foot or flee.
Where's the Christopher? I have news for him.
My lord Montjoy, Christ welcome unto us.
A holy maid hither with me I bring, which by a vision sent to her from heaven ordained it is to help us in this siege, and drive the English forth the bounds of France. The spirit of true prophecy she hath, what's past and what's to come she can descry.
Here, call her in. But first, to try her skill, Renier, stand thou as Dauphin in my place. Question her proudly, let thy looks be stern. By this means shall we sound what skill she hath. Fair maid, is't thou whilst do these wondrous feats?
Thine ye? Is thou that thinkest to beguile me? Where is the Dauphin? Come from behind. I know thee well, though never seen before. Be not amazed. There's nothing hid from me. In private will I talk with thee apart. Stand back, you lords, and give us leave a while.
She takes upon her bravely at first dash.
Dauphin, I am by birth a shepherd's daughter, my wit untrained in any kind of art. Heaven and Our Lady gracious hath it pleased to shine on my contemptible estate. Lo, whilst I waited on my tender lambs, and to sun's parching heat displayed my cheeks, God's mother deigned to appear to me, and in a vision full of majesty willed me to leave my base vocation and free my country from calamity. Her aid she promised, and assured success. In complete glory she revealed herself. And whereas I was black and swart before, with those clear rays which she infused on me, that beauty am I blessed with which you see. Ask me what question thou canst possible, and I will answer unpremeditated. My courage try to combat if thou darest, and thou shalt find that I exceed my sex. Resolve on this. Thou shalt be fortunate if thou receives me for thy warlike mate.
Thou hast astonished me with thy high terms. Only this profile of thy valour make. In single combat thou shalt battle with me. And if thou vanquishest, thy words are true.
I am prepared. Here is my keen-edged sword, the which at 2 round St. Catherine's churchyard, out of a great deal of old iron, I chose forth.
Then come, a God's name. I fear no woman.
Whilst I live, I'll ne'er fly from a man.
Stay thy hands! Thou art an Amazon, and fightest with the sword of Deborah.
Christ's mother helps me, else I were too weak.
Where helps thee? 'Tis thou that must help me. Impatiently I burn with thy desire. My heart and hands thou hast at once subdued. Excellent Pucelle, if thy name be so, let me thy servant and not sovereign be. 'Tis the French Dauphin sueth to thee thus.
I must not yield to any rites of love, for my profession sacred from above. When I have chased all thy foes from hence, then will I think upon a recompense.
My lord, where are you? What devise you on? Shall we give o'er Orleans or no?
Why now, I say, distrustful recreants, fight till the last gasp. I'll be thy guard.
What she says, I'll confirm. We'll fight it out.
Of old I know them. Rather with their teeth the walls they'll tear down than give in to siege.
Assigned am I to be the English scourge. Glory is like a circle in the water, which never ceaseth to enlarge itself, till by broad spreading it dispersed to naught. With Henry's death the English circle ends.
Leave off delays and let us scale the walls.
Woman, do what thou canst to save our honours. Drive them from Orleans and be immortalised.
Presently, we'll try, come. That's the way about it. No prophet will I trust. If she prove false...
Great lords and gentlemen, what means this silence? Dare no man answer in the case of truth?
Within the temple hall we were too loud. The garden here is more convenient.
Then say at once if I maintain the truth, or else was wrangling Somerset in the error.
Judge thou, my lord of Warwick, then between us.
Between two hawks, which flies the higher pitch?
Since you are tongue-tied and so loath to speak, let him that is a true-born gentleman, if he suppose that I have pleaded truth, from off this briar, pluck a white rose with me.
Let him that is no coward nor no flatterer, but dare maintain the party of the truth, from off this thorn, like a red rose, with me.
I love no colour, and without all colour of base insinuating flattery, I pluck a white rose with Plantagenet.
I pluck this red rose with young Somerset, and say withal, I think he held the right.
Stay, lords and gentlemen, and pluck no more, till you conclude that he upon whose part the fewest roses are cropped from the tree shall yield the other in the right opinion.
Good Master Vernon, it is well objected. If I have fewest, I subscribe in silence.
And I.
Then for the truth and plainness of the case, look I, this pale and maiden blossom here, giving my verdict on the white rose side.
Prick not your finger as you pluck it off, lest bleeding you do paint the white rose red, and fall on my side so against your will. Well, well, come on, who else? Good Master Bassett, I am bound to you that you on our behalf would pluck a flower.
In your behalf, still will I wear the same.
So, now, my lords, we stand at 3 and 3.
What says the law to his presumptuous claim?
Unless my study and my books be false, the argument you held was wrong in you. In sign whereof, I pluck a white rose too.
Now, Somerset, where is your argument?
Here, in my scabbard, meditating that shall dye your white rose in a bloody red.
Hath not thy rose a canker, Somerset?
Hath not thy rose a thorn, Plantagenet?
By my soul, I scorn thee and thy fashion, peevish boy.
Turn not thy scorns this way, Plantagenet.
Away, away, good William de la Pole. We grace the yeoman by conversing with him.
Oh, by God's will, thou wrongest him, Somerset. His grandfather was Lionel, Duke of Clarence, third son of the third Edward, King of England. Spring crestless yeoman from so deep a root.
By him that made me, I'll maintain my words. Did not thy father, Richard Earl of Cambridge, for treason at Southampton lose his head for plotting of our late King Henry's death? His trespass yet lives guilty in thy blood. Until thou be restored, thou art a yeoman.
My father was attached, not attainted. Condemned to die for treason, but no traitor. And that I'll prove on better men than Somerset. I'll note you in my book of memory. Look to it well and say you are well warned.
Ah, thou shalt find us ready for thee still, and know us by these colours for thy foes.
By my soul, this pale and angry rose has cognizance of my blood-drinking hate will I forever and my faction wear until it withereth me to the grave.
Go forward and be choked with thy ambition.
Have with thee, Pole. Farewell, ambitious Richard.
Oh, I am braved and must perforce endure it.
This blot that they object against your house shall be wiped out in the next Parliament. And if thou be not then created York, I will not live to be accounted Warwick. Meantime, in signal of my love to thee against proud Somerset and William Poole, I will upon thy party wear this rose.
Thanks, gentle sir.
This brawl today, grown to this faction in the Temple Garden, shall send betwixt the red rose and the white 1,000 souls to death and deadly night.
Come, let us for to dinner. I dare say this quarrel will drink blood another day.
Stand back, thou manifest conspirator! comest thou with deep premeditated lines, with written pamphlets studiously devised? Presumptuous priest, how canst thou accuse me? Thou that givest whores indulgences to sin. Thou art a most pernicious usurer, lascivious, wanton more than well beseems a man of thy position and degree, and for thy treachery what's more manifest, in that thou laidst a trap to take my life.
Humphrey of Gloucester, thou canst ill accuse a churchman who will here defend himself. Now hear me, you good lords. Vouchsafe to give me hearing what I shall reply. If I were covetous, ambitious, or perverse, as he will have me, how am I so poor? Oh, how haps it, I seek not to advance or raise myself, but keep my wonted calling. And for dissension, who prefereth peace more than I do, except I be provoked? Now, my good lords, it is not that offends. It is not that hath incensed the Duke. It is because no one should sway but he. No one but he should be about the king. And this engenders thunder in his breast, and makes him roar these accusations forth. But he shall know I am as good.
As good? Thou bastard of my grandfather. Am I not protector of the realm?
And am I not a prelate of the church?
I, as an outlaw in a castle, keeps and useth it to patronage his theft.
Rome shall remedy this.
Rome thither, then. My lord, it were your duty to forbear. Methinks his lordship shall be humbler.
Uncles of Gloucester and of Winchester, the special watchmen of our English weal, I would prevail, if prayers might prevail, to join your hearts in love and amity. Oh, what a scandal is it to our crown, that two such noble peers as these should jar. Believe me, lords, my tender years can tell. Civil dissension is a viperous worm that gnaws the bowels of the Commonwealth. Pray, Uncle Gloucester, mitigate this strife.
Yield, my lord protector. Yield, Winchester. Accept to me with obstinate dispute to slay your sovereign and destroy the realm.
He shall submit, or I will never yield.
Compassion on the king compels me stoop.
Behold, my lord of Winchester, the Duke hath banished moody, discontented fury.
Here, Winchester, I offer thee my hand.
By Uncle Winchester, I have heard you preach that malice was a great and grievous sin.
For shame, my lord of Winchester, relent. What shall a child instruct you what to do?
Well, Duke of Gloucester, I will yield to thee. Love for thy love I give, and hand for hand.
I but I fear me with a hollow heart. See here, my friends and fellow countrymen, this token serveth for a flag of truce betwixt ourselves and all our followers, so help me God as I dissemble not.
So help me God, as I intended not.
Oh, loving uncle, kind Duke of Gloucester, how joyful am I made by this contract.
Allow me then to further this accord. Accept this scroll, most mighty sovereign, which in the right of Richard Plantagenet we do exhibit to you. Let Richard be restored to his blood, so shall his father's wrongs be recompensed.
His father was a foul, ignoble traitor. Shall he reap honor from his father's shame?
My lords, it is not just a father's sin should be so long revisited upon the son.
Well urged, my lord of Warwick, for sweet prince, you have great reason to do Richard right.
Indeed, our loving lords, our pleasure is that Richard be restored to his blood. And if he will be true, not that alone, but all the whole inheritance I give that doth belong unto the house of York, from whence you spring by lineal descent.
Thy humble servant vows obedience and humble service to the point of death.
Stoop then and set your knee against my foot. Rise, Richard, like a true Plantagenet, and rise created princely Duke of York.
So thrive, Richard, as thy foes may fall.
Now will it best avail your majesty to cross the seas and to be crowned in France. The presence of a king engenders love amongst his subjects and his loyal friends as it disanimates his enemies.
When Gloucester says the word, King Henry goes. For friendly counsel cuts off many foes.
Your ships already are in readiness.
My lord, vex not yourself at this reverse.
Fear not for that. I will not brook this sneak.
Countrymen! Either renew the fight or tear the lions out of England's coat! Renounce your soil! Give sheep in lions' stead!
Lord Talbot! Hear how dying Lancaster has grown!
Coward of France! How much he wrongs his fame to join with witches and the help of hell! It acts his heart, he cannot be revenged! Frenchmen! I'll be a Lancaster to you! Puzzle nor pucelle, dolphin or dogfish, your hearts I'll stamp out with my horse's heels and make a quagmire of your mingled brains! No. Every soul depart where heaven please. For I have seen our country's overthrow. What is the trust or strength of foolish man? We that of late were daring with our scoffs are glad and fain by flight to save ourselves. Undaunted spirit in a dying breast. And be it so. The heavens bless thee, Lancaster. A braver soldier never couched lance. A gentler heart did never sway in court. But kings and mightiest potentates must die, for that's the end of human misery. Take forth the body of Lord Lancaster, and here advance it with due reverence outside the walls of this accursed town, and see his exequies fulfilled at once. A witch, by fear, not force like Hannibal, drives back our troops and conquers as she lists. They called us, for our fierceness, English dogs. Now, like to whelps, they crying, run away! Here she comes. Devil! Or devil's dam, I'll conjure thee. My breast I'll burst with straining of my courage, and from my shoulders crack my arms asunder. But I will chastise thee, high-minded strumpet!
But farewell. Thy hour is not yet come. Or take me if thou canst, I scorn thy strength. Go. Go cheer up thy hungry, starved men. This day is ours, as many more shall be.
Where is my strength, my valor, and my force? My thoughts are whirled like a potter's wheel. I know not where I am, nor what I do. Toussaint is entered into Orleans, in spite of us, or aught that we could do. Heavens, can you suffer hell so to prevail? Oh, would I were to die immediately. The shame hereof will make me hide my head.
France are waving colours on the walls. The stone Lapicelle hath performed her word.
How shall I honour thee for this success? France! Triumph in thy glorious prophetess!
Citizens! Ring out the bells aloud throughout the town! Make bonfires! Feast and banquet in the open streets to celebrate the joy that God hath given us!
All France will be replete with mirth and joy when they shall hear how we have played the men.
'Tis true! Not we by whom the day is won, for which I will divide my crown with her, and all the priests and friars in my realm shall in procession sing her endless praise. No longer on Saint Denis shall we cry, but Joan la Pucelle shall be France's saint. Come in, and let us banquet royally after this golden day of victory!
This happy night, the Frenchmen are secure, having all day caroused and banqueted. Great Burgundy is with us, by whose aid Artois and Picardy are friends to us. Embrace we then this opportunity to trounce the Dauphin and his damned drab.
Traitors have never other company.
Well, let them practice and converse with spirits. God is our fortress, in whose conquering name let us resolve to scale their flinty bulwarks. Now, Albion, for thee and for the right of English Harry, shall this night appear, how much in duty I am bound to both.
Send, brave Talbot. England follows thee.
How now, my lords? We're all unready, so.
Unready, aye, and glad we escaped so well. I think this Talbot be a fiend of hell.
If not of hell, the heavens sure favour him.
Here cometh Charles. I marvel how he sped.
Tut, holy Joan was his defensive guard.
Is this thy cunning, thou deceitful dame? Didst thou at first to flatter us withal, make us partakers of a little gain, that now our loss might be 10 times so much?
At all times will you have my power alike. Sleeping or waking must I still prevail, or will you blame and lay the fault on me? Improvident soldiers, had your watch been good, this sudden mischief never could have fallen.
Well, also, this was your default. The big captain of the watch tonight did look no better to that weighty charge.
Had all your quarters been as safely kept as those whereof I had the management, we had not been thus shamefully surprised.
Mine was secure.
And so was mine, my lord.
And for myself, most part of all this night, within her quarter and mine own precinct, I was employed with passing to and fro about, relieving of the sentinels. Then how or which way should they first break in?
Question, my lords, no further of the case how or which way. 'Tis sure they found some place but weakly guarded where the breach was made. And now, there rests no other shift but this, to gather our soldiers scattered and dispersed, and lay new platforms to and damage them. Let frantic Talbot triumph for a while, and like a peacock sweep along his tail. We'll pull his plume and take away his train, if Dauphin and the rest will be but ruled.
We have been guided by thee hitherto. One sudden foil shall never breed distrust. Employ thee then, sweet virgin, for our good.
By fair persuasions mixed with sugared words, we will entice the Duke of Burgundy to leave the Talbot and to follow us.
Marry, sweeting, if we could do that.
Forever should they be expulsed from France.
Your honours will perceive how I will work.
Orleans, lost and recovered in a day.
This is a double honour, Burgundy. Let heavens have glory for this victory.
Warlike and martial Talbot, Burgundy enshrines thee in his heart, and there erects thy noble deeds as valour's monuments.
Thanks, gentle Duke. But where is Pucelle now? I think her old familiar is asleep. Now where's the bastard's braves, and Charles his gleeks? Now shall you take some order in the town, and then depart to Paris to the king, for there young Henry with his nobles lie.
What wills at all but please at Burgundy? Now, Burgundy, betide thyself a while. For what ails France and Burgundy, what thee? Henry V did forge these bands at Troyes, and while he lived kept safe our land from woe. But now the hand is cold that peace could serve, and fair France bleeds, its fertile fields should flower. And yet, at Troyes I did pledge myself, my powers. What doubt assails me now? My country calls me, honor calls me too. Heaven help Burgundy.
Brave Burgundy, undoubted hope of France.
Who craves a parley with the Burgundy?
It is thy humble handmaid to speak to thee.
Speak on, but be not over tedious.
Look on thy country. Look on fertile France, and see the cities and the towns defaced with wasting ruin of the cruel foe. See the pining malady of France. Hold the wounds, the most unnatural wounds which thou thyself hast given her woeful breast. Or turn thy edged sword another way. Strike those that hurt, and hurt not those that help. One drop of blood drawn from thy country's bosom should grieve thee more than streams of foreign gore. Return thee, therefore, with a flood of tears, and wash away thy country's stained spots.
Methinks she doth bewitch me with her words.
Besides, all French and France exclaim on thee, doubting thy birth and lawful progeny. Who joinest thou with but with a lordly nation, that will not trust thee but for profit's sake? When Talbot hath set footing once in France, and fashioned thee that instrument of ill, who then but English Henry will be lord? See then, thou fightest against thy countrymen, and joinest with them will be thy slaughtermen. Come, return, thou wandering lord. Charles and the rest will take thee in their arms.
Forgive me, country. And sweet countrymen, accept this hearty kind embrace. Ha ha ha! Welcome, brave few. My forces and my power of men are yours.
Done like a Frenchman.
Thy friendship makes us fresh.
And doth beget new courage in our breasts.
Pucelle deserves the coronet of gold.
Now, let us on, my lords, and join our powers, and seek how we may prejudice the foe.
God save King Henry, of that name the 6th.
God save King Henry.
Now, brave lord, come greet thy sovereign.
My gracious prince and honourable peers, hearing of your arrival in this realm, I have a while given truce unto my wars to do my duty to my sovereign. In sign whereof this arm that hath reclaimed to your obedience 50 fortresses, 12 cities, and 7 walled towns of strength, beside 500 prisoners of esteem, lets fall his sword before your highness' feet, and with submissive loyalty of heart ascribes the glory of his conquest got, first to my God, and next unto your grace.
Is this the Lord Talbot, Uncle Gloucester, that hath so long been resident in France?
It is, if it please your majesty, my liege.
Welcome, brave captain and victorious lord. When I was young, as yet I am not old, I do remember how my father said, a stouter champion never handled sword. Long since we're resolved of your truth, yet never have you tasted our reward, or been regarded with so much as thanks, because till now we never saw your face. Therefore stand up, and for these good deserts, we here create thee, Earl of Shrewsbury, and in our coronation take your place.
My gracious sovereign, as I rode from Orleans to haste unto your coronation, this letter was delivered to my hand, writ your grace by the Duke of Burgundy.
What means his grace thus to change his style? No more but plain and bluntly to the king. What have we here? I have upon especial cause moved with compassion of my country's wrack, together with the pitiful complaints of such as your oppression feeds upon, forsaken of your pernicious faction, and joined with Charles, the rightful King of France.
Oh, monstrous treachery! Can this be so?
What? Doth my uncle Burgundy revolt?
He doth, my lord, and is become your foe.
Why then Lord Talbot there shall talk with him, and give him chastisement for this abuse. How say you, my lord, are you not content?
Content, my liege, yes, but that I am prevented. I should have begged I might have been employed.
Then gather strength, and march unto him straight. Let him perceive how ill we brook his treason.
I go, my lord, in heart desiring still you may behold confusion of your foes.
My liege! My liege, grant me the combat, gracious sovereign!
And me, my lord, grant me the combat too. This is my servant hearing, noble prince.
And this is mine, sweet Henry, favour him.
Be patient, lords, and give them leave to speak. Say, gentlemen, what makes you thus exclaim?
Crossing the sea from England into France, this fellow, with envious carping tongue, upbraided me about the rose I wear.
Yet no, my lord, I was provoked by him, and he first took exception to this badge, pronouncing that the paleness of this flower buried the faintness of my master's heart.
Will not this mallish Somerset be left?
Your private grudge, my lord of York, will out, though ne'er so cunningly you smother it.
Good lord, what madness rules in brain-sick men, when for so slight and frivolous a cause such factious emulation shall arise. Good cousins both of York and Somerset, quiet yourselves, I pray, and be at peace.
Let his dissension first be tried by fight.
The quarrel toucheth none but us alone. Betwixt ourselves let us resolve it then.
There is my pledge, accept it, Somerset.
Nay, let it rest where it began at first.
Grant it so, mine honourable lord.
Pass it! How sumptuous vassals are you not ashamed to trouble and disturb the king and us, and you, my lords? Methinks you do not well to bear with their perverse affections.
It grieves his highness, good my lord, be fed.
Come hither, you that would be competent. Henceforth, I charge you, as you love our favour, quite to forget this quarrel and the cause. And you, my lords, remember where we are. In France, among a fickle, wavering nation. if they perceive dissension in others, and that within ourselves we disagree, how will their grudging stomachs be provoked to willful disobedience and rebel? Oh, think upon the conquest of my father, my tender years, and let us not forgo that for a trifle that was bought with blood. Let me be umpire in this doubtful strife. I see no reason, if I wear this rose, that anyone should therefore be suspicious I'm more inclined to Somerset than York. Both are my kinsmen, and I love them both. And therefore, as we hither came in peace, so let us still continue peace and love. Cousin of York, we institute your grace to be our regent in these parts of France, in place of late lamented Lancaster. And good my lord of Somerset, unite your troops of horsemen with his bands of foot. Go chiefly together, and digest your angry choler on your enemies. Ourself, my Lord Protector, and the rest, after some respite, will return to Calais, and thence to England, where I hope ere long to be presented with your victories.
My Lord of York, I promise you the king prettily, methought, did play the orator.
So he did. And yet I like it not in that he wears the badge of Somerset.
Tosh, 'twas but his fancy, blame him not. I dare presume, sweet prince, he thought no wrong.
And if I wished he did, but let that rest.
False Burgundy! Unto the wall come forth! English John Talbot, traitor, calls you hence, servant in arms to Harry, King of England, and thus he would. Open your city gates, be humble to us, call my sovereign yours, and I'll withdraw me and my bloody power.
Our nation's terror and our bloody scourge. The period of thy tyranny approacheth. On either hand thee there are squadrons pitched, and nowhere canst thou turn for thy redress, but pale destruction meets thee in the face. 10,000 French obtain the sacrament to ride their dangerous artillery against no Christian soul but English Talbot. Hark, hark. The Dauphin's drum, a warning bell.
How are we parked and bounded in a page? A little herd of England's timorous deer, mazed with a yelping kennel of French curs. Rather moody mad and desperate stags turn on the bloody hounds with heads of steel and make the cowards stand aloof at bay. God and St. George, Talbot and England's right, prosper our colours in this dangerous fight.
Plague upon that villain Somerset, that thus delays my promised supply of horsemen that were levied for this siege.
Thou princely leader of our English strength, spur to the rescue of the noble Talbot, who now is girdled with a waist of iron and hemmed about with grim destruction. To Bordeaux, warlike Duke, to Bordeaux, York, else farewell, Talbot, France, and England's honour.
Renowned Talbot doth expect my aid, and I am louted by a traitor villain, and cannot help the noble chevalier.
And God take mercy on brave Talbot's soul, and on young John, who joins his warlike father. For 7 years Talbot ne'er saw his son, and now they meet where both their lives are done.
Lucy, farewell! No more my fortune can but curse the cause. I cannot aid the man. Maine, Blois, Poitiers, Tours, all are one away. Long all of Somerset in his foul delay.
Sir William Lucy, whither were you sent?
Whither my lord from Portland sold Lord Talbot, who walled about with bold adversity, cries out for noble York and Somerset. You, his false hopes, the trust of England's honour, keep off aloof with worthless emulation. Let not your private discords keep away the levied succours that should lend him aid.
York set him on, York should have sent him aid.
And York is fast on your grace exclaims, swearing that you withhold his levied host collected for this expedition.
York lies. He might have sent and had the horse. I owe him little duty and less love, and take foul scorn to fawn on him by sending...
Sword of England, not the force of France hath now entrapped the noble-minded Talbot. Never to England shall he bear his life, but dies betrayed to fortune by your strife.
Come, go! I will dispatch the horsemen straight. Within 6 hours they shall be at his aid.
6 hours? Your aid will come too late. He will be ta'en or slain.
If he be dead, brave Talbot, then adieu.
His fame lives in the world, his shame in you. Thus, while the vulture of sedition feeds in the bosom of such great commanders, sleeping neglection doth betray to loss the conquests of our scarce cold conqueror, that ever-living man of memory, Henry V. Whilst they each other cross, lives, honours, lands, and all hurry to loss.
Regent hath with Talbot broke his word and left us to the rage of France his sword. Young John Talbot! I did send for thee to tutor thee in stratagems of war, but O malignant and ill-boding stars, now thou art come unto a feast of death, a terrible and unavoided danger. Therefore, dear boy, mount on my swiftest horse, and I'll direct thee how thou shalt escape by sudden flight. Come, dally not, be gone!
Is my name Talbot? And am I your son? The world will say is not Talbot's blood that basely fled where noble Talbot stood.
If we both stay, we both are sure to die.
Then let me stay, and farther do you fly. Your loss is great, so your regard should be. My worth unknown, no loss is known in me. Upon my death the French can little boast. In yours they will. In you all hopes are lost. Flight cannot stay in the honour you have won, but mine it will, that no exploit have done. You fled for vantage, everyone will swear, but if I bow, they'll say it was for fear. There is no hope that ever I will stay if the first I shrink and run away.
Thou never hadst renown, nor canst not lose it.
Yes, your renowned name. Can flight abuse it?
Thy father's charge shall clear thee from that stain.
You cannot witness for me being slain. If death be so apparent, then both fly!
And leave my followers here to fight and die. My age was never tainted with such shame.
And shall my youth be guilty of such blame? No more can I be severed from your side than can yourself in twain divide. Stay, go, do what you will, for like do I. For live I will not if my father die.
Then follow thou thy desperate sire of Crete, thou Icarus. Thy love to me is sweet. If thou wilt fight, fight by thy father's side, and commendable proved, let's die in pride. Ah, Talbot! Where is my other life? My own is gone. Where's young Talbot? Where is valiant John? Dizzy height fury and great rage of heart suddenly made him from my side to start into the clustering battle of the French. And in that sea of blood, my boy, the drenches over-mounting spirit, and there died my Icarus, my blossom in his pride.
Oh, my dear lord, lo, your son is born.
Oh, antic death, that laughs us here to scorn, anon from thy insulting tyranny. To Talbot, winged through the lither sky in thy despite, shall scape mortality. Poor boy. He smiles, methinks, as who should say, had death been French, then death had died today. Come, come and lay him in his father's arms. My spirit can no longer bear these harms. Soldiers, adieu. I have what I would have. Now my old arms are young John Talbot's grave.
Be what thou wilt, thou'rt my prisoner!
Oh, fairest beauty. Do not fear or fly, for I will touch thee but with reverent hands. I kiss these fingers for eternal peace, and lay them gently by thy tender side. Who art thou? Say that I may honor thee.
Margaret, my name, and daughter to a king. The King of Naples, whosoe'er thou art.
An earl I am, and Suffolk am I called. Oh, be not offended, nature's miracle, thou art allotted to be ta'en by me. So doth the swan her downy cygnets save, keeping them prisoner underneath her wings. Yet, if this servile usage once offend, go and be free again as Suffolk's friend. Oh, stay. I have no power to let her pass. My hand would free her, but my heart says no. Fain would I woo her, but I dare not speak. Fie de la Pole, disable not thyself. Wilt thou be daunted at a woman's sight?
Beauty's princely majesty as such confounds the tongue and makes the senses rough.
Say, Earl of Suffolk, if thy name be so, what ransom must I pay before I pass?
She's beautiful, and therefore to be wooed. She is a woman, therefore to be won.
Wilt thou accept a ransom, yea or no?
Fond man, remember that thou hast a wife.
He talks of nothing. Sure the man is mad.
I'll win this Lady Margaret. For whom? Why, for my king. Oh, tush, that's a wooden thing.
He talks of wood. It is some carpenter.
My fancy may be satisfied, and peace established between these realms.
Hear ye, Captain. Are you not at leisure?
Sweet madam, give me hearing in a cause. Say, gentle princess, would you not suppose your bondage happy to be made a queen?
To be a queen in bondage is more vile than is a slave in base civility. For princes should be free.
So shall you, if happy England's royal king be free.
Why? What concerns his freedom unto me?
I'll undertake to make thee Henry's queen, to put a golden sceptre in thy hand, and set a precious crown upon thy head, if thou wilt condescend to be my...
What?
His love.
I am unworthy to be Henry's wife.
No, gentle madam. I unworthy am to woo so fair a dame to be his wife, and have no portion in the choice myself. How say you, madam? Are you not content?
And my father, please? I am content.
Now, Rainier, see thy daughter prisoner.
To whom?
To me.
Suffolk, I am a soldier, and unapt to weep or to exclaim on fortune's fickleness. What remedy?
Well, there is remedy enough, my lord. Consent, and for your honour give consent. Your daughter shall be wedded to my king, whom I with pain have wooed and won thereto. And this her easy held imprisonment hath gained thy daughter princely liberty.
Speaks Suffolk as he thinks?
The fair Margaret knows that Suffolk doth not flatter face nor feign. What answer makes your grace unto my suit?
Since thou dost deign to woo my daughter here to be the princely bride of such a lord, upon condition I may quietly enjoy my lands, the counties, Maine and Anjou, against oppression and the hand of war, my daughter shall be Henry's, if you please.
That is her ransom. I deliver her, and these two counties I will undertake your grace shall well and quietly enjoy.
And I agree, in Henry's royal name, to give thee her for sign of plighted faith.
Rainier of France, I give thee kingly thanks, and because this is in traffic of a king. I'll over now to England with these news and make this marriage to be solemnized. So farewell, Rainier. Set this diamond safe.
And I embrace thee, as I would embrace the Christian prince, King Henry, were he here.
Well, my lord, good wishes, praise, and prayer shall Suffolk ever have of Margaret.
Thanks, gentle madam. But hark you, Margaret. No princely commendation to my king.
Such commendations as becomes a maid, a virgin, and his servant say to him.
Words sweetly placed and modestly directed. But, madam, I must trouble you again. No loving token to his majesty?
Yes, my good lord. A pure, unspotted heart, never yet taint with love, I send the king.
And this withal.
that for thyself. I will not so presume to send such peevish tokens to a king.
Thus Suffolk hath prevailed. And thus he goes to astonish Henry with her wondrous praise. Margaret shall now be queen and rule the king. But I will rule both her, the king, and realm.
The regent conquers, and the Frenchmen fly. Help, gracious lady. Appear to me. Give sign and help me in my enterprise. Help me this once, that France may get the field. Oh, hold me not in silence over long. I'll lop a member off and give it you, so you do condescend to help me now. Oh, she forsakes me. Now the time is come that France must veil her lofty plumaged crest and let her head fall into England's lap. My holy supplications are too weak, and hell too strong for me to buckle with. Now, France, thy glory droopeth to the dust.
Damsel of France, I think have you fast. Unchain your spirits now with spelling charms, and try if they can gain your liberty.
A plague and mischief light on thee, proud York! And may ye soon be suddenly surprised by bloody hands in sleeping in your bed!
Curse mystery when that comes to the stake. Take her away, for she hath lived too long to fill the world with vicious qualities.
First, let me tell you who you have condemned. Not me begotten of a shepherd swain, but issue from the progeny of kings, virtuous and holy, chosen by inspiration of celestial grace to work exceeding miracles on earth. I never had to do with wicked spirits. But you, that are polluted with your lusts, stained with a guiltless blood of innocence, because you want the grace that others have, you judge it straight a thing impossible to compass wonders, but by help of devils.
Aye, aye, away with her to execution.
Where's barrels of pitch upon the fatal stake, that so a torture may be shortened?
Will nothing turn your unrelenting hearts? I am with Charles, you bloody homicides. Murder not then the fruit within my womb.
Now heaven forfend the holy maid with child.
Why, that's the greatest miracle that e'er you wrought.
She and the Dauphin hath been juggling.
We'll go too, we'll have no bastards live. Especially since Charles must father it.
You are deceived, the child is none of his. He was Alençon that enjoyed my love.
Alençon, that notorious Machiavel. He dies as if he'd had 1,000 lives.
Oh, give me leave, I have deluded you. 'Twas neither Charles nor yet the Duke I named, but Rainier, King of Naples, that prevailed.
A married man? Why, that's most intolerable.
Why, here's a girl, I think she knows not well there were so many whom she may accuse. Strumpet thy words, condemn thy brat and thee. Use no entreaty, for it is in vain.
Then lead me hence, with whom I leave my curse. May never glorious sun reflects his beams upon the country where you make abode, but darkness and the gloomy shade of death environ you, till mischief or despair drive you to break your necks or hang yourselves.
Break thou in pieces and consume to ashes the foul, accursed minister of hell!
Charles and the rest, it is enacted thus, that in regard King Henry gives consent to ease your country of distressful war, you shall become true liegemen to his crown. And Charles, upon condition thou wilt swear to pay him tribute, and submit thyself, thou shalt be placed as viceroy under him.
Must he then be a shadow of himself? This proffer is absurd and reasonless.
'Tis known already that I am possessed with more than half the Gallian territories. Shall I, for lucre of the rest unvanquished, detract so much from that prerogative as to be called but Viceroy of the whole?
Either accept the title thou usurpst, or we will plague thee with incessant wars.
My lord, you do not well in obstinacy to cavil in the course of this contract. If once it be neglected, 10 to 1 we shall not find like opportunity.
And therefore take this compact of a truce, although you break it as your pleasure serves.
What sayest thou, Charles? Shall our conditions stand?
It shall. Only reserved you claim no interest in any of our towns of garrison.
And swear allegiance to his majesty, as thou art knight, never to disobey nor be rebellious to the crown of England.
I swear.
So now dismiss your army when you please. Hang up your ensigns, let your drums be still. For here we entertain a solemn peace.
Wondrous, rare description, noble Earl, of beauteous Margaret hath astonished me, and breeds love-settled passions in my heart.
Hush, my good lord, this superficial tale is but the preface to her worthy praise. The chief perfections of that lovely dame, had I sufficient skill to utter them, would make a volume of enticing lines, able to ravish any dull conceit. And which is more, she is not so divine, but with as humble lowliness of heart, she is content to be at your command. Command, I mean, of virtuous, chaste intent.
And otherwise will Henry ne'er presume. Therefore, my Lord Protector, give consent that Margaret may be England's royal queen.
Then should I give consent to flatter sin? You know, my liege, your highness is betrothed unto another lady of esteem, the Earl of Armagnac, near-knit to Charles, a man of great authority in France, proffered his only daughter to your grace in marriage with a large and sumptuous dowry. Long I laboured for this good alliance. How shall we then dispense with that contract?
A poor earl's daughter is unequal odds. This bargain may be broke without offence.
Why, what, my lord, is Margaret more than that? Her father is no greater than an earl.
Yes, my good lord, her father is a king. The King of Naples and Jerusalem. And of such great authority in France as his alliance will confirm our peace and keep the Frenchmen in allegiance.
Why, so the Earl of Armagnac may do.
Besides, his wealth doth warrant a liberal dower, whereas Renier sooner will receive than give.
A dower, my lords. Disgrace not so your king, that he should be so abject, base, and poor to choose for wealth and not for perfect love. Not whom we will, but whom his grace affects, must be companion to the nuptial bed.
Whether it be through force of your report, my noble Lord of Suffolk, or for that my tender youth was never yet attainted with any passions of inflaming love, I cannot tell. But this I am assured. I feel such sharp dissension in my breast, such fierce alarms of both hope and fear, as I am sick with working of my thoughts. Let Lady Margaret now vouchsafe to come, King Henry's faithful and anointed queen. And you, good uncle, banish all offence.
But is my Lord of Winchester installed and called into a cardinal's degree?
Henry V did sometime prophesy that once this Beaufort came to be a cardinal, he'd make the cap co-equal with the crown.
Beneath my foot I'll stamp his cardinal's hat in spite of church and dignities of the Pope.
As by your high imperial majesty, I had in charge at my depart for France to woo the Princess Margaret for your grace. So in the famous ancient city Tours, I did perform my task, and humbly now deliver up to your most gracious hand the happiest gift that ever Marquis gave, the fairest queen that ever king received.
Suffolk, arise. Welcome, Queen Margaret. I can express no kinder sign of love than this kind kiss. O Lord, that lends me life, lend me a heart replete with thankfulness, for thou hast given me in this beauteous face a world of earthly blessings to my soul. If sympathy of love unite our thoughts.
Great King of England and my gracious Lord, the mutual conference that my mind hath had, by day, by night, waking it in my dreams with you, my orderly fifth sovereign, makes me bolder to salute my king.
Her sight did ravish, but her grace in speech, her words are clad with wisdom's majesty, make me from wondering fall to weeping joys. Lords, with one cheerful voice, welcome, my love.
Long live Queen Margaret, England's happiness.
Long live Queen Margaret.
We thank you all.
My Lord Protector, read contained herein the articles of marriage now agreed.
Imprimis, it is agreed between the French King Charles and William de la Pole, Marquis of Suffolk, ambassador for King Henry of England, that the said Henry shall espouse the Lady Margaret, daughter unto Rainier, King of Naples, Sicilia, and Jerusalem, and crown her Queen of England ere the 30th of May next ensuing. Item. It is further agreed between them that the Duchy of Anjou and the County of Maine shall be released and delivered.
Uncle of Gloucester, how now?
Pardon, my liege, some sudden qualm hath struck me at the heart and dimmed my eyes. I can read no further.
Uncle of Winchester, I pray, read on.
It is further agreed between them that the Duchy of Anjou and the County of Maine shall be released and delivered over to the King her father, and she sent over of the King of England's own proper cost and charges, without having any dowry.
They please us well. Lord Marquis, kneel down. And for this good desert, we here create thee first Duke of Suffolk, and gird thee with the sword. Thanks, Uncle Gloucester. Uncle Winchester, Somerset, York, Lord Stafford, Exeter, and Warwick. We thank you all for this great favour done in entertainment to our princely queen. Come, let us in, and with all speed provide to see her coronation be performed.
My brother Henry spent his youth, his valour, coin, and people in the wars. Did he so often lodge in open field, in winter's cold and summer's parching heat, to conquer France, his true inheritance? Or hath the learned council of the realm studied so long, debating to and fro, how France and Frenchmen shall be kept in awe, and shall these labours and these honours die? O peers of England, shameful is this league, fatal this marriage, cancelling your fame, undoing all as all had never been.
Now, for what means this passionate discourse? For France, 'tis ours, and we will keep it still.
Aye, uncle, we will keep it if we can, but now it is impossible we should. For Suffolk, the new-made duke that rules the roast, hath given the duchy of Anjou and Maine unto the poor King Rainier, whose large style agrees not with the leanness of his purse.
Anjou and Maine. Myself did win them both. And other cities that I got with wounds delivered up again with peaceful words. Mon Dieu.
For Suffolk's duke, may he be suffocated. I never read when England's kings have had large sums of gold and dowries with their wives, and our King Henry gives away his own to match with her that brings no vantages.
A proper jester never heard before. She should have stayed in France and starved in France.
Humphrey of Gloucester, now you grow too hot. It was the pleasure of my lord the king.
My lord of Winchester, I do know your mind. 'Tis not my speeches that you do mislike, but 'tis my presence that doth trouble you. Rancour well out. Proud prelate, in thy face I see thy fury. If I longer stay, we will begin our ancient bickerings. Lordings, farewell, and say when I am gone, I prophesied France will be lost ere long.
So there goes our protector in a rage. 'Tis known to you he is mine enemy. Nay more, an enemy unto you all! And no great friend, I fear me, to the king. Consider, lords, he is the next in blood, and heir apparent to the English crown. Had Henry got an empire by this marriage, and all the wealthy kingdoms of the West, there's reason he should be displeased at it. Look to it, lords. Let not his smoothing words bewitch your hearts. Be wise and circumspect. He will be found a dangerous protector.
Why should he then protect our sovereign? He being of age to govern of himself.
Cousin of Stafford, join thou with me, and all together with the Duke of Suffolk, we'll quickly hoise Duke Humphrey from his seat.
This weighty business will not brook delay. I'll to the Duke of Suffolk presently.
Though Humphrey's pride and greatness of his place be grief to us, yet let us watch that haughty cardinal.
Oh, his insolence is more intolerable than all the princes in the land beside.
If Humphrey be deposed, he'll be protector.
Or thou, cousin Somerset, will be protector, despite Duke Humphrey or the cardinal.
Why droops my lord like over-ripened corn, as frowning at the favours of the world? Why are thine eyes fixed to the sullen earth, gazing on that which seems to dim thy sight? What seest thou there? King Henry's diadem, enchased with all the honours of the world? If so, gaze on. Grovel on thy face until thy head be circled with the same. Put forth thy hand. Reach at the glorious goal.
Ah, Nell, sweet Nell, if thou dost love thy lord, banish the canker of ambitious thoughts. My troublous dreams this night have made me sad. Methought my staff, mine office badge in court, was broke in twain by whom I have forgot. And on the pieces of the broken wand were placed the heads of Edmund, Duke of Somerset, and William Delapoole, first Duke of Suffolk.
But this was nothing but an argument that he that breaks a stick of Gloucester's grove shall lose his head for his presumption. But list to me, my Humphrey, my sweet Duke. I dreamt I sat in seat of majesty in the Cathedral Church of Westminster, and in that chair where kings and queens are crowned, there Henry and Dame Margaret kneeled to me, and on my head did set the diadem.
Nay, Eleanor, then must I chide outright, presumptuous dame, ill-nurtured Eleanor. Art thou not second woman of the realm, the protector's wife and beloved of him, and wilt thou still be hammering treachery to tumble down thy husband and thyself from top of honour to disgrace his foot? Away from me, I will hear no more.
What, my lord, are you so choleric with Eleanor for telling but her dream? Next time, I'll keep my dreams unto myself. Whereas Humphrey bears this base and humble mind, were I a man, a duke, and next of blood, I would remove these tedious stumbling blocks and smooth my way upon their headless necks. And being a woman, I will not be slack to play my part in fortune's pageant. Where are you there, Sir John? Fear not, man, we are alone. Here's none but thee and I.
Jesus preserve your royal majesty.
What? Sayest thou majesty? I am but grace.
But by the grace of God and Hum's advice, your grace's title shall be multiplied.
What sayest thou, man? Hast thou as yet conferred with Marjorie Jourdain, the cunning witch? With Roger Bolingbroke, the conjurer? And will they undertake to do me good?
This they have promised, to show your highness a spirit raised from depth of underground, that shall make answer to such questions as by your grace shall be propounded.
It is enough. I'll think upon the questions. Here, Hum, take this reward. Make merry, man, with thy confederates in this weighty cause.
Hum must make merry with the Duchess gold. Marry and shall. But how now, Sir John Hum? Seal up your lips and give no word but mum. The business asketh silent secrecy. Dame Eleanor gives gold to bring the witch. Gold cannot come amiss for she a devil. Yet if I gold flies from another coast, I dare not say from the rich cardinal and the great and new-made Duke of Suffolk, yet I do find it so. For to be plain, they, knowing Dame Eleanor's aspiring humour, have hired me to undermine the Duchess and buzz those conjurations in her brain. Well, so it stands. Unless I fear at last Hum's knavery shall be the Duchess' wrath, and her tincture shall be Humphrey's fall. Aye, sort how it will, I shall have gold for all.
Intolerable! For my part, noble lords, I care not which. For Somerset or York, all's one to me.
If York will demean himself in France, then let him be denied the regentship.
If Somerset be unworthy of the place, let York be regent. I will yield to him.
Whether your grace be worthy, yea or nay, dispute not that. York is the worthier.
Never! Prince Warwick, let thy betters speak.
Warwick may live to be the best of all.
My lord of Warwick.
Speak, my lord. Show some reason, Hereford, why Somerset should be preferred in this.
Because the king, forsooth, will have it so.
Madam, the king is old enough himself to make his censure. These are not woman's matters.
Aye, it is true.
If he be old enough, what needs your grace to be protector of his excellence?
Madam, I am protector of the realm, and at his pleasure will resign my place.
Resign it then, and leave thine insolence. Since thou wert king, as who is king but thou? The Commonwealth hath daily run to wrack. The Dauphin hath prevailed beyond the seas, and all the peers and nobles of the realm have been as bondsmen of thy sovereignty.
The Commons hast thou wrecked. Clergy's flags are lank and lean with thy extortions.
Thy sumptuous buildings and thy wife's attire have cost a mass of public treasury.
Thy cruelty and execution upon offenders hath exceeded law.
I come to talk of Commonwealth affairs. As for your spiteful false objections, prove them and I lie open to the law. But God in mercy so deal with my soul as I in duty love my king and country.
Let Somerset be regent o'er the French.
I humbly thank your majesty.
My Lord of Suffolk, say, is this the guise? Is this the fashions in the court of England? Is this the government of Britain's Isle, and this the royalty of Albion's king? What? Shall King Henry be a pupil still under the surly Gloucester's governance? Am I a queen in title and in style, and made a subject to a duke? I tell thee, Pole, when in the city tours thou rannest a tilt in honour of my love, and stolest away the ladies' hearts of France, I thought King Henry had resembled thee in courage, courtship, and proportion. But all his mind is bent to holiness. His champions are the prophets and apostles, his weapons holy swords of sacred writ. His study is his tilt-yard, and his loves are brazen images of canonized saints. I would the College of the Cardinals would choose him Pope, and carry him to Rome and set the triple crown upon his head. That were a state fit for his holiness.
Be patient, madam. As I was cause your highness came to England, so will I in England work your grace's full content.
Besides the haughty protector, have we Beaufort, the imperious churchman, Hereford, proud Warwick, and grumbling York, and not the least of these but can do more in England than the king. Not half those lords do vex me half so much as that proud dame, the Lord Protector's wife. She sweeps it through the court with troops of ladies, more like an empress than Duke Humphrey's wife. Strangers in court do take her for the queen. She wears a duke's revenues on her back, and in her heart she scorns our poverty. Will I not live to be avenged on her, contemptuous, base-born callet as she is? She vaunted mongst her minions t'other day, the very train of her worst-wearing gown was better worth than all my father's lands, till Suffolk gave 2 dukedoms for his daughter.
Madam, myself have limed a bush for her, and placed a choir of such enchanting birds that she will like to listen to the lays and never mount to trouble you again. So, let her rest. And, madam, list to me. Thus, one by one, we'll weed them all at last, and you yourself shall steer the happy helm.
Come, my masters. The Duchess, I tell you, expects performance of your promises.
Master Hump, we are therefore provided. Mother Jourdain will be prostrate and grovel on the earth. Yourself shall chronicle the proceedings. John Southwell shall read and intone. Myself the conductor will be. Come, let's do our work.
Fear you not her courage?
Bid her ladyship enter, and hear our exorcism.
Welcome, my masters. Are you well prepared? To this gear, the sooner the better.
I pray your ladyship be seated and attend. Be not afraid. Wizards know their times. Deep night, dark night, the silent of the night, time of night when Troy was set on fire, when screech owls cry and bandogs howl and spirits walk and ghosts break up the graves. This time best suits the work we have in hand.
Apparium forma spiritali, lucente splendida et amabile, occidentalia legionum spiritualium imperata, magnus silipehimur, veni commutatus cum mastarum localente, invicto, adjuncti, spes inscrutabilia, arcana per ipsos remediables, anfractus averne, adesso behemoth, cui brio sud magnatum scrigna, veni per noctis et tenebrarium, alberita profundissima, per la venti
By the eternal God, whose name and power thou tremblest at, answer what I shall ask, for till thou speakst, thou shalt not pass from hence.
Ask for the winds, the last said and done.
First of the king, what shall of him become?
The Duke yet lives that Henry shall depose, but him outlive and die a violent death.
What fate awaits the Duke of Suffolk?
My lord shall die and take his end.
What shall befall the Duke of Gloucester?
Of Gloucester shall a rope entwined about his neck, in sleep decline, unto a word below descend, there to meet a violent end.
I've done for more I hardly can do.
Descend to darkness and the burning lake. False fiend avoid! Lay hands upon these traitors and their trash.
What, madam?
Are you here? The King and Commonwealth are much indebted for this piece of pains. My Lord Protector will, I doubt it not, see you well guerdoned for these good deserts.
Injurious Duke, that threatest wears no cause.
Away with them, let them be clapped up close and kept asunder. You, madam, shall with us.
My lord!
A pretty plot, well chosen to build upon. The king is now in progress towards St. Albans, with him the husband of this lovely lady. Thither goes these news as fast as horse can carry them. A sorry breakfast for my Lord Protector.
Believe me, lords, for flying at the brook, I saw not better sport these 7 years' day. But by your leave, the wind was very high, and 10 to 1 old Joan had not gone out.
But what a point, my lord, your falcon made, and what a pitch she flew above the rest.
No marvel in it, like your majesty, my lord Protector's hawks do tower so well. They know their master loves to be aloft, and bears his thoughts above his falcon's pitch.
Why, uncle, England knows thine insolence.
And thy ambition, Gloucester?
I prithee peace, good queen, and wet not on these furious peers. For blessed are the peacemakers on earth.
Let me be blessed for the peace I make against this proud protector with my sword.
Faith, holy uncle, what to come to that?
Uncle of Gloucester, how now?
Talking of hawking, my lord, nothing more.
The winds grow high, so do your stomachs, lords. When such strings jar, what hope of harmony? I pray let me compound this strife. My lord of Gloucester.
What noise is this?
Oh, God be praised, the miracles, brother, a miracle! Come hither, fellow. What miracle is it that thou dost proclaim?
A miracle, a miracle.
Come to the king and tell him what miracle.
Forsooth, a blind man at St. Albans shrine within this half hour hath received his sight. A man that ne'er saw in his life before. And hither is he come to show this wonder.
Now God be praised, that to believing souls gives light in darkness, comfort in despair. God be praised.
Come to the king. This is high finest pleasure to speak with you.
Good fellow. Tell us here the circumstance, that we for thee may glorify the Lord. What hast thou been long blind and now restored?
Born blind, and please your grace.
Aye, indeed was he.
What is this woman?
His wife, and like your worship.
Where wert thou born?
And upwards in the north, and like your grace.
Well, so, God's goodness hath been great to thee. There never day nor night unhallowed past, but still remember what the Lord hath done.
Tell me, good fellow, camest thou here by chance or of devotion to this holy place?
God knows of pure devotion, being called 100 times and offering my sleep by good Sir Noban, who said, Sonder, come, come, offer at my shrine, and I will help thee.
Most true, forsooth, and many a time and oft myself have heard a voice to call him so.
What, art thou lame?
Aye, God Almighty help me.
How camest thou so?
A fall off a tree.
A plum tree, master.
How long hast thou been blind?
Oh, born so, and please your grace.
And wouldst climb a tree?
But that know me life when I was a youth.
Too true, and bought his climbing very dear.
As thou lovest plums well that would venture so?
Alas, good master, my wife desired some damsons, and made me climb with danger in my life.
There's a subtle knave, but yet will not serve. Sit up, show me thine eyes. Now blink now. Now open them. Ah. In my opinion, yet thou seest not well.
Oh, yes, master, as clear as day. I thank God and St. Alban.
Sayest thou me so? What colour is my kerchief of?
Red. Red as blood.
Aye, that's well said. And my stocking?
Black. Black forsooth. Coal black as jet.
Why then, thou knowest the colour jet is of.
And yet, I think, jet did he never see.
Never before this day in all his life.
Sit down. What's thy name?
Saunders Simcox, and please your grace.
Saunders, sit down here. Sit down there. Saunder. Thou lyingest knave in Christendom. Thou mightst as well have known all our names as thus to name the several colours which we do wear. Sight may distinguish of colours, but suddenly to nominate them all it is impossible. My lords, St. Alban hath here done a miracle. Would you not think his cunning to be great that would restore this cripple to his legs again?
Oh, master, that you could.
Masters of St. Albans, have you beadles in this town?
Oh, yes, my lord, yes.
With things called whips?
Oh, yes.
Yes, fetch me one hither straight.
Go, sirrah, fetch the beadle straight.
Now, sirrah, if thou wast scape a whipping, leap over this stool and run away.
Alas, good master, I'm not able to stand alone. You go back to torture me in vain.
Oh, but we must have you find your legs again. Sirrah Beadle, whip him until he leap over this same stool.
I will, my lord. Come, sir, off with your doublet, quickly.
Alas, master, I'm not able to stand. What shall I do? Another miracle!
Follow the knave and take his brab with him.
Alas, sir, we did it for pure need.
Have them whipped through every market town.
It made me laugh to see the villain run.
Oh, God, seest thou this, and bearest so long?
Duke Humphrey hath done a miracle today, to make the lame to leap and fly away.
And now, what tidings with our cousin Suffolk now?
Such as my heart doth tremble to unfold. A sort of naughty persons, lewdly bent, under the countenance and confederacy of Lady Eleanor, the Protector's wife, have practiced dangerously against thy state, dealing with witches and with conjurers, raising up wicked spirits from underground, demanding of King Henry's life and death.
Oh, God, what mischiefs work the wicked ones, heaping confusion on their own heads thereby.
Gloucester, see here the tainture of thy nest, and look thyself be faultless, thou wert best.
Madam, to heaven I do appeal, how I have loved my king and commonweal. As for my wife, I know not how it is. Sorry I am to hear what I have heard. Noble she is, but if she hath forgot honour and virtue, and conversed with such as like to pitch defile nobility. I banish her my bed and company, and leave her as a prey to law and shame that hath dishonoured Gloucester's honest name.
Stand forth, Dame Eleanor Cobham, Gloucester's wife. In sight of God and us, your guilt is great. Receive the sentence of the law for sins such as by God's book are adjudged to death. You fall from hence to prison back again, from thence unto the place of execution. The witch in Smithfield shall be burnt to ashes, and you three shall be strangled on the gallows. You, madam, for you are more nobly born, shall, after 3 days open penance done, live in your country here in banishment, with Sir John Stanley on the Isle of Man.
Welcome is banishment. Welcome were my death.
Eleanor, the law thou seest hath judged thee. I may not justify whom the law condemns. My liege, give me leave to go.
Stay, Humphrey. Ere thou go, give up thy star. Henry will to himself protector be, and God shall be my guide, my stay, my hope and lantern to my feet. And go in peace, good Humphrey, no less beloved than when thou wert protector to thy king.
My staff, as willingly I the same resign as others ambitiously would receive it. Good king, farewell. When I am dead and gone, may honourable peace attend your throne.
So, now is Henry king, and Margaret queen. Come you, my lord, to see my open shame? Now thou dost penance too. Look how they gaze. See how the giddy multitude do point and nod their heads and throw their eyes on thee. Ah, Gloucester, hide thee from their hateful looks, and in thy closet pent up, rue my shame and ban thine enemies, both mine and thine.
Be patient, gentle Nell. Forget this grief.
Gloucester, teach me to forget myself. For as I think I am thy married wife, and thou a prince, protector of the land, methinks I should not be thus led along, mailed up with shame, with papers on my back, and followed with a rabble that rejoice to see my tears, and hear my deep-fed groans. Sometime I'll say, I am Duke Humphrey's wife, and he a prince and ruler of the land. Yet so he ruled, and such a prince he was, as he stood by, whilst I, his forlorn duchess, was made a wonder and a pointing stock to every idle rascal follower. But be thou mild, and blush not at my shame, nor stir at nothing, till the axe of death hang over thee, as sure it shortly will. For Suffolk, he that can do all in all with her that hateth thee and hates us all, and York, and impious Beaufort, that false priest, have all lined bushes to betray thy wings, and fly thou how thou canst, they'll tangle thee.
Ah, Nell, forbear, thou aimest all awry. I must offend before I be attainted.
Your Grace! Your Grace, I summon your Grace to His Majesty's Parliament, holding at Bury the 1st of this next month.
My consent ne'er asked herein before. This is close dealing. Well, I will be there.
Soon will the ravening wolf devour the lamb.
Now I must take my leave. Master Sheriff, let not her penance exceed the King's commission, so use her well. The world may laugh again.
What? Gone, my lord, and not bid me farewell.
Witness my tears, I cannot stay to speak.
Madam, your penance done, throw off this sheet and go we to attire you for our journey.
My shame will not be shifted with my sheet.
No, it will hang upon my richest robes and show itself a time me how I can. Go, lead the way. I long to see my prison.
I muse my Lord of Gloucester is not come. 'Tis not his wont to be the hindmost man.
Can you not see? Or will you not observe the strangeness of his altered countenance? With what a majesty he bears himself, how insolent of late he has become, how proud, how peremptory, how unlike himself. Small curs are not regarded when they grin, but great men tremble when the lion roars, and Humphrey is no little man in England. Meseemeth then it is no policy that he should come about your royal person, or be admitted your highness' council. Now 'tis the spring, and weeds are shallow-rooted. Suffer them now, and they'll all grow the garden, and choke the herbs for want of husbandry.
Well hath your highness seen into this, Duke. Smooth runs the water where the brook is deep, and in his simple shows he harbours treason. The fox barks not when he would steal the lamb. No, no, my sovereign. Gloucester is a man unsounded yet, and full of much deceit.
Did he not, contrary to form of law, devise strange death for small offences done?
And did he not in his protectorship levy vast sums of gold throughout the realm for soldiers' pay in France? And never sent it?
My lords, at once, the care you have of us to mow down thorns that would annoy our foot is worthy praise. But shall I speak my conscience? Our kinsman Gloucester is as innocent from meaning treason to our royal person as is the sucking lamb or harmless dove.
Seems he a dove? His feathers are but borrowed, for he's disposed as is the hateful raven. Is he a lamb? His skin is surely lent him, for he's inclined as is the ravenous wolves. Take heed, my lord. The welfare of us all hangs on the cutting short that fraudful man.
All health and happiness to my lord the king. Pardon my liege that I have stayed so long.
Nay, Gloucester, know that thou art come too soon, unless thou art more loyal than thou art. I do arrest thee of high treason. Yeah?
Well, Suffolk, you shall not see me blush, nor change my countenance for this arrest. The purest stream is not so free from mud as I am clear of treason to my sovereign. Who can accuse me? Wherein am I guilty?
'Tis thought, my lord, that you took bribes of France, and being protector stayed the soldiers' pay, by means whereof all France is well nigh lost.
Is it but thought so? What are these that think it? I never robbed the soldiers of their pay, nor ever had one penny bribe from France, so help me God, as I have watched the night, I night by night in studying good for England. No many a pound of mine own proper store, because I would not tax the needy commons, have I dispersed to the garrisons and never asked for restitution.
In your protectorship you did devise strange tortures on offenders, never heard of. That England was defamed by tyranny.
Why, 'tis well known whilst I was protector, pity was all the fault that was in me. Unless it were a bloody murder, a murder indeed, that bloody sin I tortured above the fellow, nor what trespass else.
Oh, Lord, these faults are easy, quickly answered, but mightier crimes are laid unto your charge. I do arrest you in his highness' name, and here commit you to my good Lord Cardinal to keep until your further time of trial.
My Lord of Gloucester, it is my special hope that you will clear yourself of all suspense. My conscience tells me you are innocent.
Ah, gracious Lord, these are dangerous days. Virtue is choked with foul ambition. I know their complot is to have my life. And would my death make this island happy, I would expend it with all willingness. But mine is made the prologue to their play, for many thousands that yet suspect no peril will not conclude their plotted tragedy. And you, my sovereign lady with the rest, causeless of heaped disgraces on my head, and with your best endeavour stirred up my leafest liege to be mine enemy. All of you have laid your heads together, and all to make away my guiltless life.
My nation's rambling is intolerable.
Have we not twit our sovereign lady here with ignominious words, though clerkly couched?
But I can give the loser leave to chide.
Sirs, take away the Duke, and guard him short.
Now is the shepherd banished from thy side, and wolves are gnarling who shall gnaw thee first. Ah, that my fears were false, ah, that they were. For good King Henry, thy decay I fear.
My lords, what to your wisdom seemeth best? Do or undo as if ourself were here.
What will your highness leave the parliament?
I matter, for my heart is drowned with grief. Oh, Uncle Humphrey, in thy face I see the map of honor, truth, and loyalty. But Lowring Star now envies thy estate, that these great lords and Margaret our queen do seek subversion of thy harmless life. Thou never didst them wrong, nor no man wrong. And as the butcher takes away the calf, and binds the wretch, and beats it when it strays, bearing it to the bloody slaughterhouse, even so, remorseless have they borne him hence. And as the dam runs lowing up and down, looking the way her harmless young one went, looks after him and cannot do him good, even so myself bewails good Gloucester's case. His fortunes I will weep, and twixt each groan say who's a traitor. Gloucester hears none.
Three lords. Cold snow melts with the sun's hot beams. Henry, my lord, is cold in great affairs, too full of foolish pity. Believe me, lords, we're none more wise than I. This Gloucester should be quickly rid the world, to rid us of the fear we have of him.
That he should die is worthy policy, but yet we want a colour for his death. 'Tis best he be condemned by course of law.
My mind, that were no policy. The king will labour still to save his life. The commons haply rise to save his life. And yet we have but trivial argument more than mistrust that shows him worthy death.
So that by this you would not have him die.
Ah, York. No man alive so fain as I. No, let him die. In that he is a fox, by nature proved an enemy to the flock. And do not stand on quillets how to slay him, be it by gins, by snares, by subtlety, sleeping or waking, 'tis no matter how.
Thrice noble Suffolk, 'tis resolutely spoke.
Say but the word, and I will be his priest.
Say you consent and censure well the deed, and I'll provide the executioner. I tender so the safety of my liege.
That is my hand. The deed is worthy doing.
And so say I.
And I. And now we three have spoken, it skills not greatly who impugns our doom.
Great lords, from Ireland am I come amain, to signify the rebels there are up, and put the Englishmen unto their swords.
A bridge that craves a quick expedient, stop. What counsel give you in this weighty cause?
That Somerset be sent as regent thither. 'Tis meet that lucky ruler be employed. Witness the fortune he hath had in France.
If York, with all his far-fetched policy, had been the regent there instead of me, he never would have stayed in France so long.
No, not to lose it all as thou hast done. I rather would have lost my life betimes than bring a burden of dishonour home by staying there so long till all were lost.
What says the
Amen.
yeoman?
This spark will prove a raging fire if wind and fuel are brought to feed it with. No more, good York. Sweet Somerset, be still.
My Lord of York, try what your fortune is. To Ireland will you lead a band of men, collected choicely from each county some, and try your hap against the Irishmen?
I will, my lord, so please his majesty.
Why, our authority is his consent, and what we do determine, he confirms. Then, noble York, take thou this task in hand.
I am content. Provide me soldiers, lords, whilst I take order for mine own affairs.
A charge, Lord York, that I will see performed, but now return me to the false Duke Humphrey.
No more of him, for I will deal with him. But henceforth he shall trouble us no more. And so break off, the day is almost spent. Lord Suffolk, we must talk of that event.
Now, York, or never, steal thy fearful thoughts and change misdoubt to resolution. Be that thou hopest to be, or what thou art resigned to death, 'tis not worth the enjoying. Let pale-faced fear keep with a mean-born man, and find no harbour in a royal heart. Faster than springtime showers comes thought on thought, and not a thought but thinks on dignity. My brain more busy than a labouring spider weaves tedious snares to trap mine enemies. Well, nobles, well. 'Tis politically done, to send me packing with a host of men. I fear me you but warm the starved snake, which cherished in your breasts will sting your hearts. 'Twas men I lacked, and you have given me them, I thank you. But be well warned, you put sharp weapons in a madman's hands. Whilst I in Ireland do nourish a mighty band, I will stir up in England some black storm, shall send 10,000 souls to heaven or hell, and this fell temper shall not cease to rage until the golden circuit about my head, like to the glorious sun's transparent beams, do calm the fury of this mad bread floor. For a minister of my intent, I have seduced a headstrong Kentishman, Jack Cade of Ashford, to make commotion as full well he can, under the title of John Mortimer, the dead pretender to the throne. For him in face and speech and gait he doth resemble. Say that he thrive, as 'tis full well he will. Why then from Ireland come I with my strength to reap the harvest that rascal sowed. For Humphrey, being dead, as he shall be, and Henry put apart, why then the next, or me.
Suffolk. Let him know that we have dispatched the Duke as he commanded.
Oh, that it were to do. What have we done? Didst ever hear a man so penitent?
Now, sirs, have you dispatched this thing?
Oh, my good lord, he's dead.
Have you laid fair the bed? Is all things well? Looks it a natural death as I directed.
'Tis, my good lord.
Be gone.
Go call our uncle to our presence straight. Say we intend to try his grace today.
I'll call him presently, my noble lord.
Lord, attend we here, and I pray you all, proceed no straighter against our uncle Gloucester than from true evidence of good esteem he be approved in practice culpable.
Oh, God forbid any malice should prevail, that faultless should condemn a noble man.
I thank thee now. These words content me much. And now? Why tremblest thou? Why lookest thou so pale? Where is our uncle? What's the matter, Suffolk?
Dead. In his bed, my lord. Gloucester is dead.
May God forfend!
God's secret judgment. I did dream tonight the Duke was dumb and could not speak a word.
This was some retribution for his life. My lord!
Farewell! Affairs, my lord! Run, go, the king is dead!
Rear up his body! Wring him by the nose!
Run, go!
He doth revive again, madam, be patient.
Oh, heavenly God!
Comfort, sweet Henry, gracious sovereign, comfort.
What? Does my Lord of Suffolk comfort me? Came he right now to sing a raven's note, whose dismal tune bereft my vital powers, and thinks he that a chirping of a wren, by crying comfort from a hollow breast, can shake away the first conceived sound? Hide not thy poison with such sugared words. Lay not your hands on me! Bear, I say! Their touch affrights me as the serpent's sting. Thou baleful messenger, out of my sight! Upon my eyeballs, murderous tyranny sits in grim majesty to fright the world!
Why do you rate my Lord of Suffolk thus? Although the Duke was enemy to him, yet he most Christian-like laments his death.
Oh, woe is me for Gloucester, wretched man!
Be woe for me, more wretched than he is. I am no loathsome leper, look on me. What? Art thou like the adder, waxen deaf? Is all thy comfort shut in Gloucester's tomb? Why then, Dame Margaret was ne'er thy joy. Erect his statue and worship it, and make mine image but an alehouse sign. I can no more. Die, Margaret, for Henry weeps that thou dost live so long.
It is reported, mighty sovereign, that good Duke Humphrey traitorously is murdered by Suffolk and the Cardinal Beaufort's means. The commons, like an angry hive of bees that want their leader, scatter up and down and care not who they sting in his revenge.
That he is dead, good Warwick, 'tis too true. But how he died, God knows, not Henry. Enter his chamber, view his breathless corpse, and comment then upon his sudden death.
Stay extra with the commons till I return.
The God that judgest all things, stay my thoughts. Some violent hands were laid on Humphrey's life. If my suspect be false, forgive me, God.
Come hither, gracious sovereign, view his body. For as surely as my soul intends to live, I do believe that violent hands were laid upon the life of this thrice-famed Duke.
What instance gives Lord Warwick for this vow?
See how the blood is settled in his face. Oft have I seen a timely parted ghost of ashy semblance, bloodless, meagre, pale, but see, his face is black and full of blood, staring all ghastly like a strangled man. It cannot be, but he was murdered here.
Why, Warwick, who should do the noble Duke to death? Myself and Beaufort had him in protection, and we, I hope, sir, are no murderers. And now, my Lord of Beaufort, why so pale?
So should the blood be drained from Suffolk's cheek, huh? Who finds the heifer dead and bleeding fresh, and sees close by a butcher with an axe, but that suspects 'twas he that made the slaughter.
Why, are you a butcher, Suffolk? Where's your knife?
I wear no knife to slaughter sleeping men. I'm a vengeful sword, rusted with ease, that shall be soured in his rancorous heart, that slanders me with murder's crimson badge. Say, if thou darest, proud Lord of Warwickshire, that I was faulty in Duke Humphrey's death.
What dares not Warwick when false Suffolk dares him?
He dares not calm his contumelious spirit, nor cease to be an arrogant controller, though Suffolk dare him 20,000 times.
Peace, madam. Each word you speak in his behalf is slander to your royal dignity. Pernicious bloodsucker of sleeping men, I'll give thee hire or send thy soul to hell.
Thou shalt be waking when I shed thy blood. If from this presence thou darest go with me.
Away.
The king shall know your mind.
What noise is this?
Great lord, the commons send you word by me. Unless Duke Suffolk straight be done to death, or banished fair England's territories, they will with violence tear him from your palace, and torture him with grievous lingering death. They say, by him the good Duke Humphrey died. They say, in him they fear your highness' death.
It's like the commons, rude, unpolished hinds should send such message to their sovereign, but you, my lord, were glad to be employed to show how quaint an orator you are. But all the honour extravagant one is that he was the Lord Ambassador sent from a sort of tinkers to the king.
Go, Exeter, and tell them all from me. I thank them for their tender loving care. For sure my thoughts do hourly prophesy, mischance unto my state by Suffolk's means. And therefore by his majesty I swear, he shall not breathe infection in the air, but 3 days longer on the pain of death.
Henry, let me plead for gentle Suffolk.
Gentle queen, call him gentle Suffolk. No more, I say. If thou dost plead for him, thou wilt but add increase unto my wrath. If, after 3 days' space, thou here bist found on any ground that I am ruler of, the world shall not be ransom for thy life. Come, Warwick. Come, good Warwick, go in with me. I have great matters to impart to thee.
Mischance and sorrow go along with thee! Heart's discontent and sour affliction be playfellows to keep thee company! There's 2 of you, the devil make a 3rd, and 3 for vengeance, 10 upon your stead!
Cease, gentle queen, these execrations, and let thy Suffolk take his heavy leave.
Thy coward woman and soft-hearted wretch! Hast thou not spirit to curse thine enemies?
A plague upon them, wherefore should I curse them? Would curses kill, as doth a mandrake's groan, I would invent as bitter searching terms. Curses as harsh and horrible to hear, as lean-faced envy in a loathsome cage. And even now my burdened heart should break, should I not curse them? Poison be their drink, gall, worse than gall, the dainties that they taste. Their chiefest shade, a grove of cypress trees, their sweetest prospect, murdering basilisk, their softest touch as smart as lizard stings, their music frightful as the serpent's hiss, and boding screech owls make the consort foe, all the foul terrors of dark-seated hell.
Enough, sweet Suffolk. Thou tormentest thyself.
Bids me ban, now will you bid me leave? Now by my ground that I am banished from, well could I curse away a winter's night, though standing naked on a mountain top, and think it but a minute spent in sport.
Let me entreat thee, cease. Give me thy hand, that I might dew it with my mournful tears. Oh, could this hand, be printed on thy soul, that thou mightst think upon these by the seal through whom 1,000 sighs are breathed for thee. Now get thee gone, that I might know my grief. 'Tis but surmised whilst thou art standing by. I will repeal thee. I'll be well assured and venture to be banished myself. Go. Speak not to me, even now be gone.
Thus is poor Suffolk, 10 times banished. Once by the king, and 3 times thrice by thee. The wilderness is populous enough, so Suffolk had thy heavenly company. For where thou art, there is the world itself, with every several pleasure in the world. And where thou art not, desolation. I can no more. Live thou to joy thy life, myself no joy in aught but that thou livest.
Oh, let me stay before what will befall.
To France. Sweet Suffolk, let me hear from thee. For wheresoe'er thou art in this world's globe, I'll have an iris that will find thee out.
I go.
And take my heart with thee.
Even as a spitted bark, so sunder we. This way fall I to death.
This way for me.
Comb down his hair. Look! Look! It stands upright, like lime twigs, set to catch my winged soul. Give me some drink. I bid the apothecary bring the strong poison that I bought of him.
O thou eternal mover of the heavens, look with a gentle eye upon this wretch, and from his bosom purge this black despair. Lord Cardinal, if thou thinkst on heaven's bliss, hold up thy hand, make signal of thy hope. He dies, and makes no sign. O God, forgive him.
So bad a death argues a monstrous life.
Forbear to judge, for we are sinners all. Close up his eyes. I will draw the curtains close.
Say, Sirrah, for thy prisoner is the prince, the Duke of Suffolk, William de la Pole.
Duke of Suffolk muffled up in rags.
Aye, but these rags are no part of the Duke. Jove sometimes went disguised, and why not I?
But Jove was never slain as thou shalt be.
Obscure and lowly swains, King Henry's blood, the honourable blood of Lancaster, must not be shed by such a jaded groom.
Whom have we here? Sir! The Duke of Suffolk, William de la Pole! Speak, Captain, shall I stab the full swine?
Convey him hence, and on the river bank strike off his head.
Thou darest not for thine own.
Yes, Poole.
Poole!
Poole? Sir Poole? Lord? Aye, kennel, puddles, sink, whose filth and dirt troubles the silver spring where England drinks. Now will I stop up this thy yawning mouth for swallowing the treasures of the realm. Thy lips that kiss the queen shall sweep the ground, and thou that smilest at good Duke Humphrey's death against the senseless wind shall grin in vain, which in contempt shall hiss at thee again. By thee Anjou and Maine is lost to France. The princely Warwick and the Nevilles all, as hating thee, are rising up in arms, and now the house of York, thrust from the crown by shameful murder of a guiltless king, burns with revengeful fire. The commons down in Kent are up in arms, and to conclude, reproach and beggary is crept into the palace of our king, and all by thee. Away, convey him hence.
Come, Suffolk! I must waft thee to thy death.
It is impossible that I should die by such a lowly vassal as thyself. No, rather let my head stoop to the block, and sooner dance upon a bloody pole than stand uncovered to the vulgar groom.
Convey him hence and let him speak no more.
Come, soldiers, show what cruelty you can, that this my death may never be forgot. A Roman sworder and bandito slave murdered sweet Tully. Brutus' bastard hand stabbed Julius Caesar, and Suffolk dies by pirates!
was ever king, that joyed on earthly throne, and could command no more content than I. No sooner was I crept out of my cradle, but I was made a king at 9 months old. Was ever subject, longed to be a king, as I do long and wish to be a subject.
Oh, barbarous villains. Had this lovely face, brood like a wandering planet over me, and could it not enforce them to relent, who were unworthy to behold the same?
Oh, Margaret, my heart is drowned with grief, whose flood begins to flow within mine eyes. My body round engirt with misery. Oh, what's more miserable and discontent?
Oft have I heard that grief softens the mind and makes it fearful and degenerate. But who could cease to weep and look on this? Here may his head lie on my throbbing breast. But where's the body that I should embrace?
Come, wife, let's in, and learn to govern better. Or yet may England curse my wretched reign,